work. Work is an important part of life in Australia. It will give you independence and a sense of purpose. It will also help you meet new people, feel part of the community, and pay your bills. There are lots of different job opportunities in Australia. Finding a job. All Australians have to compete for jobs. You might not get a job in your field, and you might need to study more before you can get your skills recognised in Australia. There are plenty of training opportunities and bridging courses you can do to help you get more qualified for work. These courses usually cost money. Dimpla has been in Australia for 12 years.
Time management is quite challenging, especially the time management. How do you manage your work and your study at the same time and then get a decent mark? So my suggestion is that if you're a student, if you're working, you have to prepare to work hard.
Many people need to start with casual or shift work before getting a full-time job. This will help you get experience and can be a step towards full-time work. Volunteering is unpaid work. It is a good way to get work experience which can help you get a job in the future. It can also help you make contacts in the community. You can find jobs advertised in newspapers, on the internet, or through employment service organisations, and you might also find out about employment opportunities through friends and other community members. You can also look for a job at Centrelink or at a Job Services Australia provider where you can use the job search website. Don't be afraid to ask for help finding a job. It can be challenging for everyone. Job Services Australia. Job Services Australia providers can help you find a job or employment and training programs. Your provider may develop an employment pathway plan for you, which could include training, work experience, and other help to find a job. It is important you attend everything they organise for you so you don't lose your Centrelink payments. You will be asked questions about your education, work history, and ability to work. It is important to be honest about how much education you have completed and what jobs you have had in the past. If you have qualifications, there is a free service which helps you compare your qualifications to Australian qualifications. Ask your provider about this service. Resumes. When you apply for a job, you'll need a resume, a document which explains the jobs you have had, the education you have completed, and how to contact you. Chintalka works for a Job Services Australia provider.
What you basically need when you apply for a job in Australia is you need to have a resume. Most important is the contact details should be in on the resume, along with the education or qualifications that you have, employment history, then you can put skills, then at the end you can put reference.
After you have sent in a job application, you may have to go to a job interview. Attending a job interview. Getting a job is very competitive in Australia, and you will need to compete for the job with other candidates. Arrive on time, dress neatly, and try to be confident during your interview. When you go to an interview, you will be asked lots of questions.
At first, it's a bit hard to get a job in Australia, but once you apply for the job, you'll be helped to prepare your resume because there is a process of applying job in Australia. But once you apply for the job, it's not that you get a job, you have to go through an interview process.
Working in Australia. The Australian government sets laws on wages and working conditions, and these will vary between jobs. They determine the amount of pay, the hours to be worked, and working conditions such as safety, holidays, allowances, and training. If you are unsure about your rights at work, talk to your settlement service provider. Robert is a legal aid lawyer.
People have a right to be free from discrimination in all areas of life, including in the workplace. So if you're being discriminated against in the community or in the workplace, then you've got rights and you should seek some legal help to get those rights respected.
When you start working, you will need to find out when you are expected to work. You need to go to work on time, and if you are sick and can't work, tell your employer. Your employer depends on you just as you depend on your employer for your pay. Most employers will transfer your pay directly into your bank account. An amount of money will be deducted to pay tax to the government and for superannuation, which is savings for when you retire from work. Money. In Australia, you will have to manage your own money so you can pay for rent, food, electricity and telephone bills, clothes, transport, medical expenses and more. Centrelink. Centrelink is an Australian government agency that can help by giving you money while you learn English, study or look for work, care for children or someone who is old or sick. You can also get money if you can't work because you are sick, have a disability or are retired. You will need to visit a Centrelink office within 3 days of arriving in Australia, and there will be someone available to speak to you in your language. You will be asked lots of questions so Centrelink can decide which payment is the right one for you. It is important that you give accurate information and bring your travel documents on your first visit. People are entitled to different payments depending on their circumstances. Centrelink gives money to individual family members, so it is important that each family member contributes money to the household. If you put all your money together, it will help you run your household better. Everyone has to follow certain rules to receive a Centrelink payment. It is important to tell Centrelink if you change address or if your job or income changes, so you keep receiving your payments. It is important that you respond to Centrelink letters as quickly as possible and attend Centrelink interviews or your payments may be stopped. Ask about a healthcare card at Centrelink. This card can give you discounts for some health services and medicines, and on other things like transport. If you need help with Centrelink and don't speak English, you should call Centrelink's multilingual call center and state your language. A staff member who can speak your language will help you. Or you can ask for an interpreter at a Centrelink office or show staff your I need an interpreter card. Bills and expenses. If you use electricity, gas or telephone services, you will receive bills. A bill is the amount of money you owe for using a service, and it is charged after use, usually every 3 months. Though you can arrange for bills to be issued monthly if you prefer. Make sure that you allow money to pay for your living expenses and bills before you spend money on extra things like entertainment, mobile phones, or sending money back home. Everyone in the family should contribute to family expenses, and everyone should try to find ways to save money. Your money needs to last until your next Centrelink payment or until you get paid by work. Keep a receipt when you pay your bills. Saving money. There are many ways to save money. For example, by using public transport, buying second-hand clothing or furniture, and getting the best deal on your mobile phone. Mobile phones are expensive in Australia. If you need a mobile phone, consider buying prepaid credit. This means you won't spend money you don't have. Don't call overseas from your mobile phone. Buy a phone card and use your home phone or a public phone as it will be cheaper. You can also save money on your bills. For example, when you use your heater, remember you will have to pay for the gas and electricity that you use. Instead of turning up the heater, put on warmer clothes. Turn lights off when you are not using the room. Shopping. In Australia, shopping might be different from what you are used to. Many people shop in supermarkets and malls, and Australians don't normally bargain for a different price. The food might look different, but many areas in Australia have Asian food shops, so you should be able to get most of the food you are used to. Fresh food is much cheaper than takeaway food and much healthier too. Ask about fresh fruit and vegetable markets. Some shops are cheaper than others for the same items. Look for items on special and for sales when prices are reduced. Second-hand stores and garage sales are a cheaper way to buy clothes than furniture and are popular in Australia. You will see advertising everywhere, on television, in the mail, in magazines. Some salespeople might approach you in the street, knock on your door or telephone you to try to sell you things. Do not be pressured into buying anything you do not want. It is important to know what you are buying. If you don't understand, don't be afraid to ask for help.
I will tell you when I knew arriving here, when I went to the supermarket, because I can't read, I don't know. Is there so many things are different from Thailand product? The product is very different. I asked, what is it? Is this shampoo? This is a conditioner. Always, if you ask, we get more information.
Be careful using credit cards because you might have to pay back more than you spend, even if you can't afford to. Credit cards charge interest on outstanding bills. Ask your settlement service provider to explain this to you. When you buy something, keep the receipt in case you need to return it. Banking. You will need to open a bank account so you can receive your Centrelink payments or a wage if you are working. Once you have a bank account, you will get a key card. You can use this card to get your money, either from a bank or an automatic teller machine or ATM. Some ATMs charge fees each time you take money out, so it is better to use your own bank's ATM. You will get a personal identification number called a PIN number with your key card. You will need this number to access your money. You will need to memorize this number and don't tell anyone else your PIN number. If you lose your key card or it is stolen, tell your bank and they will cancel and replace it. Many people in Australia now use internet banking to pay bills and manage their money. Insurance. Many people in Australia pay for insurance which can replace belongings if they are stolen or destroyed. Ask your settlement service provider to explain insurance to you. Health. Australia has very good healthcare. Ask a settlement service provider to tell you about Medicare, doctors, dentists, optometrists, family planning, and other health services. Going to the doctor. You will have had a health check before you came to Australia. Now you are here, you and your family should see a doctor again, even if you don't feel sick. This will make sure you are healthy. Some illnesses, such as malaria and tuberculosis, are unusual in Australia, but can be treated. It is important that you see a doctor. In Australia, you have to make an appointment to see a doctor. You need to phone to find out when the doctor is available. Doctors can be very busy, so it can take some time to get an appointment, and you may have to try a few doctors to find one who is available.
Yes, that's okay.
You must always be on time for your appointment. Cancel your appointment if you cannot attend. Some medical centres accept patients without an appointment, but you may have to wait a long time before you can see the doctor. Debbie has been in Australia for 2 months.
When we go in hospital, the doctor, the nurse, they are very helpful. They come and ask, what is your problem?
When you first go to the doctor, take your medical documents, your Medicare card, and your healthcare card, and ask about immunizations for your family. Ask a settlement service provider to help you find a local doctor, and if you can't speak English well, ask for help to make a doctor's appointment. When you feel sick, you should not be shy. Ask for help.
When you see a doctor in Australia, it's a medical doctor, not a health assistant that you are seeing in your country. You may go to a clinic. In the clinic, there are qualified doctors. You don't have to go to a hospital to see a doctor. You can see a doctor next door from your home. They are qualified doctors. Doctors here in Australia are like your friend. They will very clearly tell you what you need to do, what you're suffering from, and that is kept secret, that not be told to other people. And they are like your friends. So you should speak up and tell anything that you feel to the doctors.
You are entitled to an interpreter to help you speak to the doctor. It is important that you ask for an interpreter when you make your doctor's appointment. You can request a male or female interpreter. This service can help you communicate with your doctor and will probably be via a telephone. This service is free. Medicare. In Australia, the government helps you pay for some of your medical costs through Medicare. You should ask your settlement service provider about getting a Medicare card as soon as possible. And remember, it is important that you carry it with you at all times. Some doctors bulk bill. This means Medicare will pay for your doctor's visit. You won't have to pay anything. Other doctors will ask you to pay after your appointment. If you pay, take your receipt to a Medicare office and they will refund some of your payment. Medication. Your doctor will tell you what medication you will need to take and give you a prescription. Many medications and some contraception in Australia require prescription from a doctor before you can buy them. You will then need to take this prescription to a chemist or a pharmacy to buy your medication. It is very important that you use the medication your doctor prescribes. Make sure you ask for help from the chemist or pharmacy to understand how much medication to use, how and when to take it. Ask for an interpreter if you don't understand. It is free. Never give your medication to other people and keep medication away from children, as it may make them sick. Don't use medicine that is old. There are many medicines and herbs available in Australia. It is important to always tell your doctor if you are taking any traditional medicines. Emergency 000. 000 is the emergency telephone number across Australia for police, fire and ambulance. It is a free telephone call. When you call 000, tell the operator which service you need: police, fire brigade or ambulance. Then tell them your address and what is wrong. If you are using a home phone, the emergency services can find you by computer. So if you are feeling confused, stay on the phone and help will come to you. If there is an accident or you or someone you know is seriously ill or injured, you should go straight to the hospital or call 000 and ask for an ambulance. The ambulance service will come to you and take you to the hospital if you need more help. Remember that if you are very sick or injured and need to go to a public hospital, you will usually not have to pay for treatment. Counseling. Arriving in a new country is filled with new experiences and challenges. At times you may be happy, and at other times you may have some difficulties and be disappointed or upset. It is normal for people who have had experiences of war and conflict to be stressed or feel anxious and worried. Some people continue to have unpleasant memories or bad dreams. They may not be able to sleep or to concentrate on everyday things. Children can also remember bad experiences or be affected by family worries. They can show their stress by being quiet, by being very angry, or behaving in ways that may upset or worry you. There are people who can help you and your families deal with problems which come from stress and bad experiences of the past. These people are called counselors, and they are there to talk to you and help you. The information you provide is private, and no one else will be there during your counseling.
I think counseling is very important when you come from a traumatic situation. The counseling really helps you to understand your problem, and that will help you to speak up and gain confidence, and then that makes you feel that there is someone that you can share. You don't only have to share in your home.
Interpreters are available, and some counselors are from the same cultural background as you. If you would like counseling, don't be afraid to tell your settlement service provider or doctor, and they will help you make contact. Counseling services are also available if you have problems with gambling, alcohol, or drugs. Staying healthy. To stay healthy, you need to eat healthy food and have a balanced diet. You should also try to exercise regularly. Drinking too much alcohol is expensive and affects your health, family relationships, and even your job. Drug use is illegal in Australia. Smoking is very bad for your health, and there are many places in Australia where smoking cigarettes is not allowed. For example, on public transport, in restaurants, and rental properties. In Australia, there are age restrictions on buying cigarettes and alcohol. You should look after your personal hygiene. There are simple ways to do this, such as taking a shower once a day and washing your hands regularly with soap, especially after going to the toilet. You should also wash your clothes regularly and wear deodorant. There are no squat toilets in Australia, and people sit down on toilets here. People use toilet paper to clean themselves after using the toilet, not water. It is also important to look after your teeth. You should brush your teeth every morning and night and visit the dentist regularly. Storing food. You might not be used to the way we store food in Australia. Some of the food you buy will last a long time. Other food will have to be eaten very quickly. It is important that you store your food safely and check the use-by dates to make sure that it doesn't make you sick.
Milk, mint, and cheese, butter, you need to put in the fridge. If you are not put in the fridge, they will get spoiled and you can't use anymore, and waste of the money and waste of the time. And like some food, you can put in the pantry, like chili, salt, dry noodles, dry rice. You can put in pantry.
Freeze is not a luxury in Australia, it is a necessity. If you don't keep your food in the freeze, the food will be wasted. You will get sick. You may not want to keep your rice, your potato and those sort of stuff in the freeze. But all other fruits and veggies in Australia have to keep in the freeze. And even the food that you cook have to be kept in the freeze and you can eat next day.